Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and we are back with more Monopolies and Trusts. And today we are looking at a company named JBS. Let's dig into this a little deeper. Whoa, don't want you doing that. JBS, a little information here, is a Brazilian company that is the largest meat processing enterprise in the world, producing factory processed beef, chicken, salmon, pork, and also selling byproducts from the processing of these meats. It is headquartered in Sao Paulo, Brazil, founded in 1953. The actual initials stand for the guy who founded the company, Jose Batista Sobrino. So, yeah. As of 2023, the company had about 500 industrial plants and commercial representations in 24 countries, and its products reach consumers in 180 countries. JNF Investimentos is a 42% indirect shareholder of JBS SA, which is listed on the American stock market. JBS AY. JNF Investimentos is wholly owned by Joesley Batista, the son of the man who founded the company, and Wesley Batista, probably also related to the founder. The company has been regularly criticized for sourcing meat from farms that contribute to the destruction of the Amazon rainforest. Yeah, there's a lot of destruction of the rainforest in Brazil due to commercial farming, and this company is one of the big perpetrators. Now, JBS USA Holdings Incorporated is a meat processing company and a wholly owned subsidiary of the Brazilian multinational JBS SA. And the subsidiary was created when JBS entered the U.S. market in 2007 with its purchase of Swift and Company. JBS USA is based in Greeley, Colorado, and its competitors include Hormel Foods, Cargill, Smithfield Foods, and Tyson Foods. So, I mean, immediately you should recognize some big names, especially if you live in the U.S. Smithfield Hams, Hormel, all kinds of different foods, Tyson, known for the chicken, and Cargill is a privately owned company that is huge in the sale of farming products. But yeah, so that gives you a bit of history. Now, the reason I came to this actual story is from the lever. It's not the full article, but if you have a chance, go check it out. Behind nearly every hamburger or chicken nugget handed out in a school cafeteria is JBS Foods, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate run by a billionaire butcher family who bribed their way to become the world's largest meat processor. Today on Lever Time, we look at how JBS captured the meat market, harmed workers, pulverized the environment, and generally tainted all your lunch meats with a hefty dose of corporate corruption. Every year, the U.S. government gives JBS Foods millions of dollars in subsidies. On top of millions more, it pays the company to supply meat for school lunches and the military. Despite JBS's long history of illegal behavior, its market dominance has made it impossible for the government to avoid working with them, according to Agricultural Secretary Tom Vilsack. JBS isn't an outlier. Today, a handful of companies control most of the country's agricultural supply. And we've got this is from the Institute for Agriculture and Trade Policy. And it shows exactly how this kind of thing happens, or who these companies are as of 2021. But yeah, the biggest sales of the largest meat and dairy firms for 2019-2020 in billions of US dollars. So these are the biggest producers worldwide as far as meat and dairy go. And yeah. Right here, JBS, it's a worldwide company, has the most earned by far of any of the companies. So again, this is a monster giant monopoly. And like I said, Tyson's one of these. You'll probably recognize it's right up there, not far behind. There's Cargill. There's Smithfield. Hormel's a bit smaller. But yeah, it allows you to see which companies make the most. The ones in pink are meat producers, and the ones in blue are your dairy companies. Well, the money they make off dairy. Heinz, Kraft Heinz makes a lot of other things, ketchup and stuff, but Kraft in particular, cheese and other dairy products. But by and far the world's biggest moneymaker at that point, Nestle, when it deals with dairy. And like I said, we'll get back here to meat, JBS. So yeah. Combined share of the sales of the top 4 firms in selected U.S. feed and meat industry sectors 2020. Soybean processing. Again, remember, JBS is a meat producer, so it's not here. But, yeah. Cargill is one of those big producers. Now, we get into meat producing, and yeah. Beef processing, owned 73% of it owned by these 4 companies. JBS, Tyson, Cargill, Marfrig. Pork processing, 67% owned by these 4 companies. WH Group, JBS, Hormel, Tyson. Chicken processing, 54% owned by these 4 companies. Tyson, JBS, Purdue, Sanderson. So yeah, I mean, It's insane. And then just because I like some of these charts and they show the craziness, concentration of the global feed and meat related industries 2018. Now, this is not the food producing, so JBS isn't in this, but I thought I'd go ahead and show you this. Top four revenues in far as percentage is in the purple, and overall volume, billions in US dollars. That went to the four companies based on agrochemicals, animal pharma, commercial seeds, farm equipment. You'll see companies Bayer, BASF. You'll see commercials for them on television here in the U.S. Merck, it even deals with human medicines. Commercial seed, Bayer. And then the equipment, the names you know, Deere, John Deere, Kubota. Yeah. But anyway, back to JBS. Yeah. It's a monster. This is from Forbes. The story goes that when Wesley Mendonca Batista arrived in Greeley, Colorado in 2007 from Brazil, he sported the basic cowboy gear of jeans, boots, and a hat. He spoke no English and made a point of getting blood on his hands, showing butchers at his newly acquired Swift, now JBS USA, how to carve out the most dollars worth of cuts from a cow's carcass. Cut to 4 years later, 2011, and Batista, 41, is sitting in the lobby of the Intercontinental Hotel in New York City looking through a presentation in English, his dark hair combed back and wearing an expensive suit, a tightly knotted red tie, and dress leather shoes. He's got a BlackBerry at hand with no trace of steer blood on it. When was this article? Yeah, this was from 2011, but still, this will give you a good idea at what we're looking at here. Whatever happened to the cowboy from the Brazilian interior town of Goiás? Batista leans forward, shaking his head. There's a lot of legend out there, he says in Portuguese, that has an unmistakable country bent. My brothers and I grew up inside the butchering business. We know the business, but there's a little bit of myth about how we got here too. Here meaning running family-controlled JBS SA, the world's largest meat producer, ranked 766 in the Global 2000 list of the world's biggest companies. So it's in the top half. In the last 4 years, JBS has participated in 13 transactions, including the acquisition of U.S. grocery store staples Swift, Smithfield Beef, and Pilgrim's Pride. Few Americans have ever heard of JBS, and yet it is responsible for 22% of the U.S. beef supply. Some 70% of its revenue comes from its U.S. operation. It's in our DNA to grow, says Batista. From that acquisition frenzy, which also extended to Australia and Argentina, larded JBS with $6.9 billion in debt. Some analysts worried JBS was overeating. The firm lost $160 million in 2010 on about $33 billion in sales, mainly because of the cost of integrating Pilgrim's and Brazilian meat packer Bertin. Investors got queasy. JBS stock traded in Brazil's Novo Mercado dropped by 30% in the last year. Other meat producers, including JBS's main rival, Tyson Foods, are also dealing with some income woes, mainly because of spikes in corn prices that increase the cost of raising cattle. Yeah, but anyway, you can read the rest of it because, like I said, I'll post this in the description box as I always do. But yeah, and 10 years later, 2021, they are one of the world's largest manu- well, yeah, perhaps the largest in the world as far as manufacturing of meat. And in the US, only really rivaled by Tyson. Barely beating Tyson 2 blocks, 3 blocks as far as beef processing. 3 full lines and 4 blocks. 3 full lines, 1 block. So it beats Tyson there, but is beat out by WH Group, but they're nowhere in the beef. And then chicken, again, WH Group ain't in chicken. So yeah, Tyson wins out in chicken. It's the one section that it defeats JBS in. 4 full rows and 1 compared to 3 full rows and 2. So yeah, like I said, as I've demonstrated to you here, they are huge, and there's a good chance that any meat you eat is dealt with by JBS. Yeah, especially in the US, it's JBS and Tyson that you can almost guarantee are the handlers, producers, processors of that meat you buy, whether it's beef, pork, or chicken. Yeah. So again, watch out because, like I said, anything you buy as far as meats is likely one of these two companies in the U.S. Oh, goodness. But yeah. Anyway, I'll go ahead and end this episode here. Wanted to give you all a look at who these companies are, especially JBS, like I was saying, because they're the biggest producer as far as meat goes worldwide. But in the U.S., yeah, they're that's the big money market for it. But anyway, as always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting my sources and links in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.